Hello everybody, this is Adam from Wax Pack Guides. I hope you're doing well. Today is Friday, January 4th of 2018, and the NFL playoffs are just getting ready to start. So I thought this would be a good time to take a look at some football cards that I have in my collection. Now you can tell from the fancy wrapping on this stack of football cards that it came from the collection I bought from one of my childhood friends just a few years ago. He contacted me and wanted to know if I was interested in some cards, and so we made a little deal and we both went away happy. So I thought I would look at some of these. He tended to group his cards together in baggies. So this is a pretty thick stack of football cards. Maybe we'll do 2 or 3 videos to get through these. Now this is, I can tell from the beginning here, this is like a 77, maybe a 74 or 73, something like that. We'll look as we go along. It's a little bit before the time that I was interested in football cards. I think I started collecting football cards in like 79 or 80. So I don't know all of these players, and I didn't go back and get as deep into the history of football as I did with baseball. So maybe now's the time to do that. We'll see. But anyway, we can still have fun looking at some of these cool old cards. So here we have Clarence Scott, who is a cornerback for the Cleveland Browns. As I said, this is a 77 Topps card, and we can see the kind of pink motif on the back. So Topps says that Clarence was one of the league's top men at his position. Few quarterbacks dare to throw to his area of the field. So looks like Scott had 19 interceptions over, what, 6 years? So he could definitely pick some off, and he had scored 1 touchdown. It's pretty cool. And it says attended Kansas State University in Manhattan, Kansas, in the college corner here. So this is very Topsy, and rated as best defensive back in the nation in 1970. Pretty cool. So the very Topsy on the front too, the big banner on the position in a football, and then the player's name. No helmet or anything. Alright, and here we have Vivian Lee, a cornerback for the New Orleans Saints. He's got pretty good hair there. It doesn't quite rival Oscar Gamble in baseball, but maybe it was slightly dampened by the football helmet. Who knows? So again, another cornerback, Vivian Lee for the Saints. So this is a 1974 Topps card. Yellowish background here, and it says Brian works for a hand lotion company. Or not Brian, but Vivian works for a hand lotion company. That's fairly interesting. You don't see that very often, I would imagine, especially these days. And so he had 3 interceptions in 1973 and had 7 for his career by that point. And there is a football game at the bottom, so you could play this with a set of cards. There was, several cards, and you could go play by play and see who could end up running for a touchdown or kicking a field goal or whatever. In this case, you would have gotten a field goal. Okay, another 1974 Topps card, Lynn Haas, a center for the Washington Redskins. On the back, we see that Lynn is a salesman off season. So these guys were working men, and one of their jobs was to play in the NFL. So they didn't quite have the big contracts that today's players have. Okay, another 77 Topps card. This is Reggie Harrison, who was a running back for the Steelers. Of course, if your name wasn't Franco Harris for the Steelers, you didn't get a whole lot of love as a running back in these days. But Reggie says he's a valuable reserve and specialty teams player for the Steelers during the past 2 seasons. 67 yards in 1 game against the Jets. And he had like 456 for his career at that point. Okay. 76 or 77 Oilers checklist. Houston Oilers. Woo! The old Houston Oilers. And then they've got the Oilers yearly leaders from 69 through 76. And we don't yet have Earl Campbell here, although he would become the man soon enough. Here we have Don Calhoun, a running back for the New England Patriots before they were the New England Patriots. What did he do? Played in all 14 games as a rookie with the Bills in 74. Joined the Patriots on November 22nd of 75 and saw action in the final 5 games that season. And then he began starting in December of 75, and he ended up with 721 yards rushing in 76. So not a bad season at all. And here's Wayne Morris, a running back of the Cardinals, St. Louis Cardinals. And you can see here, I don't know, this looks like kind of a blue screen effect, maybe some airbrushing going on. It's an interesting look. Almost looks like the basketball cards of the era with just the player in relief in front of a solid background. So Wayne was a rookie, it looks like, in 1976. And it says he was one of the Cardinals' most outstanding rookies in 76. So there you go, his rookie card. And Jack Gregory, defensive end for the New York Giants. What did he have to say? So, as you might expect from a defensive end, before folks really talked much about sacks or anything, there aren't any stats on the back of his card. But he had a banner season for the Giants in 72, leading the NFL with 21 quarterback sacks. So I guess they did talk about them, they just didn't put them on as statistics. Here's Ike Harris, a wide receiver for the Cardinals. Number 84. And by this point, we could see he was doing pretty well. He had almost 800 yards receiving in 1976 with a touchdown. And played at Southern California before coming to the Cardinals. John Sanders, a safety for the Philadelphia Eagles. So this is a 78 Topps card. Sanders had been, well, let's look at the design a little bit. So just how it's pretty basic, just the team name in one band, and then the player name in another band, the white band there, and then a football with the player position. And kind of the drab green Eagles colors. Sorry, Eagles fans. So he had played with Sanders had played with the Patriots for 3 years, and then came to the Eagles for the 77 season and picked off 6 passes. So not too shabby. We have Rick Upchurch, wide receiver for the Denver Broncos. Another 1978 Topps card. Upchurch had seen his receptions and yards steadily increase in his 3 years in the NFL to this point. So he was an up-and-comer, and he was also the AFC's 5th. Oh, that was sorry, those were punt returns. The AFC's 5th leading punt return artist of 77. Let's do a couple more here. So we have Mike Washington of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who was a cornerback. Again, a lot of defensive guys here. He had played for the Colts. Well, he was with the Colts, but was injured in 75, and then a couple years with the Bucs. Mike played freshman basketball at Alabama. So there you go. And he was drafted, what, number 3 by the Colts in 75. Let's see. Let's make Eddie Edwards here our last card for today. He is, or was, a defensive tackle for the Cincinnati Bengals, shown here on his, kind of scowling here on his 1978 Topps card. Says he's perhaps the fastest and strongest defensive lineman available in the NFL 1977 NFL draft, and he enjoyed a sensational rookie campaign with the Bengals. He made the NFL All-Rookie team for 77 as selected by Pro Football Weekly. He excels at rushing the passer, and at Miami he recorded 6 sacks in 74, 5 and 75 and 6 and 76. And it says Eddie played 1 year at Arizona Western College before enrolling at Miami. So there you have it. A beginning stack of old football cards to kind of celebrate the kickoff of the NFL playoff season here in 2019. So thanks for watching. You can find us at waxpackgods.com or on Twitter at waxpackgods. See you later.